Preface of Jesse James, My Father. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Barry Eads. Jesse James, My Father. Written by Jesse James, Jr. Preface. Hundreds of different books have been written and published about Jesse James, and what is commonly known as the James Band. Many of these books were false from cover to cover. A few had in them a grain or two of truth upon which were strung whole chapters of untruths. I have read them all, and there is not one of them that did not do cruel injustice to the memory of my father and to his family. In none of these books, and in none of the thousands of newspaper articles that have been written about him, have I seen him credited with having in his nature any of the human attributes of kindness, charity, or honesty of purpose. In all of these writings, his true character is entirely lost sight of and distorted into that of a veritable Frankenstein, who slew mercilessly and robbed for the mere love of adventure. This is because these writings were done by those who never knew my father. I defy the world to show that he ever slew a human being except in the protection of his own life or as a soldier in honorable warfare. His only brother, whose name was linked with his in all the years of his life, is a free man today, acquitted of all crime. There were lovable and noble traits in the character of my father, else why was it that for 16 long years, when there was a price on his head that would have made his betrayer rich, not one could be found who would betray him? Did ever a man live who had such staunch friends, many of whom were persecuted and made to suffer because of the steadfastness of their loyalty to him? Is it possible that an ignoble character could win and hold such friendships? My object in writing this book is twofold. Thousands have asked me why I did not write such a book, and promised to buy one if I did write it. If all of these keep that promise, it will have been a good business venture for me. One of my objects, then, in writing this book, is in the hope that it will bring some money for the support of my mother. My other object in writing it is to do something to correct the false impressions that the public have about the character of my father. Others may differ from me on this point, but I believe it my duty to the memory of my father that the truth about him be told. I make no claim to literary merit in this book. I have had little time in my life to go to school. In the years that boys usually spend in school, I was at work earning wages for the support of my widowed mother and the education of my fatherless sister. I have tried to make this book a straightforward account of the things I write about, as I see them. Jesse James, Jr. Kansas City, Missouri, June 1, 1899. End of preface. Chapter 1 of Jesse James, My Father, by Jesse James, Jr. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Things I Remember of My Father. I was born August 31, 1875, in Nashville, Tennessee. I recall with vivid distinctness an incident that occurred in Nashville when I was about 5 years old. At that time my father, Jesse James, was away from home. Dick Little was staying at our home during the absence of father. It was the night of St. Valentine's Day. While mother and myself and sister and Dick Little were at home, there was a sound as if someone was throwing rocks against the front door. Dick started to open the door, but mother suspected that it was someone who had discovered who we were and were trying to entice Dick out to capture or kill him. She would not allow him to open the door. Dick then got my father's shotgun from a closet. Both of its barrels were loaded heavily with buckshot. Before my mother could interfere to prevent it, Dick aimed at the door and fired the charge of buckshot, tearing a great hole through the door panel and splintering it. Dick rushed to the door and threw it open and ran out on the porch. In the darkness, he saw a man running around the corner. Dick fired the second barrel straight at him, barely missing him, the charge rattling against a lamp post on the street. We lived in the suburbs, and a great crowd that had heard the shots gathered to see what was the matter. Dick told them simply that he had shot at a burglar.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?